So today's video should be pretty quick. Some of this stuff is kind of familiar to us already. What we're looking at today, I mentioned a few times before, instead of looking at triangle congruence, I'm going to start looking at triangle similarity and different ways that I can prove similarity. Remember, we said similarity between two polygons, which a triangle is basically that it's the same shape, but it's different sizes. So there's a couple of ways. Some of them are exactly the same things that we have looked at before, such as side, 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 and side, angle, side. We just have to think of them in a little bit of a different way when we talk about similarity. So the first thing on there to identify similarity, is angle, angle. You may recall from our triangle unit, angle, angle, angle is not something that I can use to prove triangle congruence. That does not work. But angle, angle similarity does work. And what it says there is if two corresponding angles are congruent, then the triangles are similar. So it's saying determine if the examples below are similar by angle, angle similarity. If yes, write a similarity statement. So all I have to do here is my similar, these are two corresponding triangles right there. They're both 75 degrees. It tells me that this angle right here is 31 and this is 74. Something that I can do here to actually see what my congruent angles are. There's 180 degrees in an angle, we remember. So if I do the math and I say, okay, 180 minus 75 minus 31 as well, it's going to leave me with this angle. When I do that math out, I get 74 degrees. So that makes these two angles equal. It also makes these angles congruent. I don't really care about all three of the angles. All I really care about is two of them. So I can say, yep, these two are similar by angle, angle. And I'm going to, again, my similarity statement is kind of like a congruent statement. I want to maintain order of what my congruent angles are. A is corresponding to D, B corresponds to E, and C corresponds to F. So I put them in that order, and I say triangle ABC is similar to triangle DEF. Let me do one more example. This one I don't really have to do much math for. It tells me that these two are congruent right here. I know right away if I have a picture like this, these two are also congruent because of vertical angles. That's all I have to do, because we said all I need is angle-angle similarity. So again, I'm going to say, yep, those are similar, and my congruent statement, my similarity statement is triangle WBX is similar to triangle ZY. Oops. ZYX. Okay, let's move on, and we'll go down here to my side, side, side similarity. So it says there, if all corresponding sides are proportional, then the triangles are similar. So I'm not really looking at, before we talked about side, side, side in terms of a congruent triangle. And if all my sides are congruent, I can say that all of my, that both my triangles are congruent. This time, again, similar means it's the same shape, general shape, but bigger or smaller or whatever. So the way that I'm going to figure out by side, 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 I'm going to put all of my corresponding sides in a proportion, and if those are all equal, then I know that those two triangles are similar. So for example, I'm going to say my 3 side corresponds to my 6 side here. So that's my first proportion. 4 corresponds to 8. And 5 corresponds to 10. Hopefully you notice that all of those, I don't really need to use a calculator or anything, those are all equal to 1/2. So yes, those are similar by side, side, side. Now let's take a look at this bottom one here. If I'm looking at this last one, I'm still putting all of my sides into a proportion, so I'm going to say, okay, 30 corresponds to the side that's 24 in the other triangle. 32 corresponds to 25. And 35 corresponds to 28. If I do the math and reduce these down, I'm going to find that this is equal to 5/4 and this is equal to 5/4. But I can't really do anything here. This is still 32 over 25. It's not equal to the other two. Because they're not all equal, I have to say no. Those are not similar triangles by side, side, side. And for each of these, instead of actually reducing them down, a quick check, you have your calculators. I think an easy check would be do this math out. Figure out what 30 divided by 24 is. Find out what 32 divided by 25 is. Right off the bat, if you did that, I don't have to do this or whatever. I know that if these two aren't equal, then those aren't similar triangles by side, side, side. So I can do it that way. So let's move on to side angle side. I'm going to pause the video for 1 second. Okay, so I had to move myself over and I had to erase a bunch of stuff, but we're back. So the last one that I'm going to look at is side angle side similarity. And what it says there, if two corresponding sides are proportional and the included angles are congruent, then the triangles are similar. So for example, if I have got, you can see I have my congruent angle right there. I want to look at the proportion between my corresponding sides. So if I look at 8 to 6 equals 20 to 15, I will notice, much like I did in the other ones, that both of those reduce down to 4/3. And since I have that proportion equal and I have my included angle, I can say yes, those two triangles are similar. And then let's look at one more. Let me erase this. I'm doing the exact same thing, but this one's a little bit trickier because I can see right here, this angle is congruent between the two triangles because it's the exact same angle. That's that reflexive property of angles. Reflexive property of anything, really. If it's the same thing, it's not changing from one triangle to the other. So all I have to do, again, I have to look at the proportions of my different sides. So I want to say, is 15, my 15 side, is that proportional to my 25 side in the same way that 12 is proportional to 21? And if I do that math out, I'll see that this is 3/5, this is 3/7. Those are not equal, so I cannot say in number 6 that those are similar triangles. So that really is the way you're going to do a lot of these. I'm going to give you a little direction on which ones I want you to also try on your own. You'll notice you weren't stopped by any questions in this video. Use your notes to do the other ones that I asked of you. And we'll talk about this a little bit more tomorrow.